Hey guys, and welcome back to week 13 of building Umbara in Lego. Unfortunately this week I was not quite able to finish up this middle portion like I said I was wanting to do in the previous week's update, but everything else we got done I'm really happy with. I needed to actually screen record on my laptop, and I ran into a few visual issues and audio issues when I was doing that. I had to cut some parts of it out, but so if you see any weird visual issues, that's why. I will get this fixed next time I have to do that. I ended up using like the built-in Windows screen recorder and it didn't really work that well. So I try to get some third-party screen recorder in the future. But anyways, let's get straight into this week's update of building Umbara. Okay, so now I've increased the stability of this tower, so now it just will not really move back and forth really at all. So it shouldn't fall off anymore. It should stay like that for forever. So that's good. Now, unfortunately, I was looking at this and I noticed that at the very beginning that this slope is off. It's supposed to look like this, or it's supposed to be perfectly aligned, but right there I didn't do that, which means that there's a chain reaction with from all the rest of the slopes, meaning that all of it's off just slightly. And now that I see it, I can't unsee it, so I need to go back. I just need to fix all of that. It's going to probably take a while, but I need to do that, so I'm going to do that. I'll come back once it's finished. I feel so defeated right now. Okay, so I've gone ahead and fixed that. It didn't take too terribly long. Just was pretty easy to just take up all the tiles around it and fix it, so it's much more compact. I don't know how I didn't realize it when I was building it for the first time, but I'm glad that I was able to fix it. I didn't realize it later, like when I built the rest of it. So that's good. Now, next I want to focus on the blue line as it comes across and meets with the other one. I want to measure that out, kind of figure out where that's going to be, build as much of it as I can, and then order the parts I need to, because I definitely will need to order some parts. And then also probably just build up the flooring around it, and then maybe also start prototyping on how it's going to slope downwards, because I want it to be at a curve as it slopes down. So I'll definitely mess with that. Okay, so I made a bit of progress on both sides for the blue line. I've got up to the point where I'm going to stop using cheat slopes, because I'm still waiting on a bricklink order for some modified plates, so I can finish it off. So this is as much progress I'm going to be able to make until I get that bricklink order in. So one challenge that I was running into was where I needed to make it at a 45-degree angle to kind of change the direction. So I made use of these tiles, these modified tiles, and filling this gap right here, you can see I used a cabinet door that's on its side. Originally, I was thinking that the only way that I would be able to fit that gap was going to be with one of these top hinge plates, and as we discussed earlier, this place in dark bluish gray is ridiculously expensive, $4 a piece. So I'm really happy that I was able to figure out that I could just lay it on its side, because originally I ruled that out as an option because I wasn't using tiles for the rest of it. I was using the slopes, so there wasn't enough clearance for the handle on the cabinet door to fit underneath. But since I'm using a tile, there is enough room. Unfortunately, I realized that an hour after I've ordered 2 of the top plates in dark bluish gray. So I kind of wasted $8 on those 2 pieces, but who knows, maybe one day I will need them in the future for another mock, or maybe even this mock. But yeah, I've also made a bit of progress on the flooring, and I also started messing around with how it's going to slope downwards. So I want the slope to kind of be at an angle, so we're using some hinge bricks right there. It's going to kind of sit right there, and then we'll go around in kind of a half circle. The only thing I don't like is how these curved slopes are sitting above the panel right here. But with how I have the side built right here, I can't go any lower. So this is going to be how it is. But I think it's going to be worth it, because I think it will just add a little bit more interest to the overall flooring of the base. Won't just be completely flat all the way around. So I think I still am going to use this technique, just have that go all the way around. So while I am waiting on the bricklink order to make more progress on the blue line, I'm actually going to be working on the Umbara Starfighter a bit. Alright, so I actually started designing this in Studio, which is the online Lego digital software made by Bricklink, so it's linked to Bricklink. I can like make a parts list of all the parts that I use in this model and easily buy them. So I've never really used this. I've used the Lego Digital Designer a little bit a long time ago, which is the official Lego version, but I'd never used Studio. It's really useful. I don't know why I haven't used this before. I'm going to be using this a lot more in the future, but very useful. I've designed quite a bit of the Starfighter so far. I first started just building what I had already built in real life. You can see that for some reason this hose is phasing through this dome piece right there. I have no idea why that's just happening, but we know that it works in real life, so that'll be fine. But I built everything that we are already built, this gun portion, and then I had started on the main body and the wing portion. I'm pretty happy with how the wing has come out. I completely went in a different direction than what I have done before. I do wish that this part right here was a little thinner. That would have been more accurate to the actual vehicle, but overall I think it looks pretty dang good. I like the curved slopes on the edges where the actual wing portion meets with the main body. I think that looks great. And then obviously, because this is on some clips, I will be able to position the wings however I need them to. So yeah, I ended up having to do a lot of math with how the wedge plates and these slopes meet with the body, but overall it makes a pretty seamless transition between the wing and the main body. I also ended up including a landing gear, so this just will fold down like that. I made use of the wand piece from Harry Potter because the actual landing gear is pretty pointy, so I tried to find a piece that was good, and this looked like the best piece for that. And I do think it probably is supposed to be a little longer, but I don't think it's too big of a deal. I think it should work out just fine. Now moving on to the back engine area, I do wish that I was able to find a better option for this piece right here. I couldn't figure out how to cover this up completely. I don't know if it is possible with the space that I have here. Same with this area as well. So I kind of ended up putting this wedge there instead, which I think works well, but it is a little bulky and I'm not the biggest fan with how it looks. I might go back and redesign that area, but for right now that's how it's going to stay. Now with the actual engine itself, the color that I chose was the translucent neon green color. I do think that the translucent bright green color is more accurate, but unfortunately that piece is much more limited than the translucent neon green. So I wouldn't be able to get the same shaping that I did with this, but you can see I was able to put this at an angle. I'm pretty happy with that, and one of my favorite techniques is making use of this Lord of the Rings ring to reverse the stud direction. So you have stud going in this direction and in this direction, so I was able to connect them together using that ring piece. I'm really happy with that. But making use of the cheese slopes gets that pointed part, and I do have some black detailing which is accurate to the actual vehicle as well. I was hoping to get like a completely studless look. Unfortunately, I do have to have some studs in certain areas. These I probably could figure out a way to replace them with these slopes to get rid of the studs, but I do think it's going to be pretty tricky to do that. I have this side exposed so you can kind of see how I have been working through this area. I do have some tiles on the side in certain portions just to get some of these angular details that you do see on the actual vehicle, and I think for the most part it looks pretty well. I had to use some rounded tiles to get everything to fit in perfectly, but overall I'm pretty happy with how this has been turning out. But we have some of these, we have some lights here and there, and the top portion I think could use a little bit more modification. Most of it will be kind of covered up with the kind of fins that will go out right there, that will probably attach to some of these studs. Now originally, so with the wing design I was thinking about doing bricks. Now the problem with that is that there are two different designs on the other side of the fins, so I would only be able to do one of these color schemes with the yellow and the dark blue. So I instead was thinking, okay, how could I get plates on either side? Originally I was thinking, okay, maybe using these bricks on this on the interior, but I think that will be too thick. I think it's just not going to look as good. So instead, I'm going to be making use of these old hinge plates right here that can allow me to reverse the stud direction in a very small area. That will allow me to get me a fin that is only 4 plates thick. So right now it's only 2 plates, so there'll be another one of these connected on the other side. So this is the early prototype version of what I was thinking. So hopefully I'll be able to figure that out, and I think that will end up looking good and allow me to get all the details that I want to. But yeah, once I finish the fin right there, and I'll probably duplicate what I have on this side onto the other side, and then I'll finish off the wings. The wings, they'll go out downwards and they'll connect up to this other top wing as well, as you can see from the concept art. But I'm designing this right now in brown. I want to try, obviously I'm going to design one in light bluish gray. I want to try medium nougat or dark tan. Dark tan is probably more unlikely. But overall, I'm pretty dang happy. I'm not a great vehicle builder. I haven't really built too many vehicles. So I'm glad that I'm trying this out, and also trying it out with this new software that I haven't really used before. And it's very useful. I'm going to be using this in the future for a lot of different mocks as well, because you just have every single Lego piece ever made at your disposal basically. But you can see the price of individual pieces, like this panel is 4 cents a piece. So it's very useful when you're making mocks digitally and just need to see how available a certain part in a certain color is and how much money it will cost to build an entire model. I definitely recommend this tool to any builders, especially vehicle builders, because you can make sure that all the angles are absolutely perfect and will work in real life. Because a lot of times real life models, they can be a little finicky. Maybe it almost works, but actually it doesn't. So you can make sure that everything does fit together perfectly, especially with models with very weird angles like this one.
Alright, so far I received 2 of my bricklink orders. I'm still waiting on a 3rd one, but I have the pieces that I need to finish off the blue line, so I'm just going to go through what I got so far so I can finish off. So first off, I do have this bag with a lot of different dark bluish gray tiles for the flooring, as well as a few of the road signs, and then these fences in light bluish gray, which is for the pull-up bar for that Easter egg that I started working on in last week's episode. Add more 2x4 dark bluish gray tiles, a bunch more of these road signs in dark bluish gray, a bunch of these slopes, 1x2 slopes in dark bluish gray, a singular 2x3 tile, a massive bag of 2x2 modified plates with the stud on this side. In black. Black ended up being the cheapest color to get them in, so that's why I got them in. Here are those 2 hinge plates that I spent $8 on for these 2 pieces. So unfortunate that I won't even be using these in the final mock, but they're official Lego. They're made in a test mold in some factory, and then they must have been stolen from the factory and resold. But so it's a really cool thing to have, just in general, to have an unreleased Lego piece. So it could be useful in a future build. And finally, not related to this mock, but I do have a couple custom figs I got for a future mock. I got an Ahsoka from Star Wars Rebels, and then a Temple Guard, so you can kind of theorize what I might be using these for. Alright, so now I'm going to do a time lapse finishing off this blue line and doing some more work on the flooring of the base.
All right, so I finally finished building the blue line. That took forever. I'm so happy to have that finished. I'm definitely not going to be doing the other one that was supposed to go kind of around here, just because this took so long and I just don't want to do that again. So I'm not going to be doing that again. And I had to change up some of the ideas. Originally, these were going to, base plates were going to split apart, but with how the blue line is, the slopes that I used, these ones, it's like right on the line of where it's supposed to divide. So I wouldn't be able to divide it anyway because of the slope. So these 3 base plates are going to be connected together. So those will have to be connected when I have to transport it, which won't be too bad since it's not like it's the 48 by 48 base plates. It's just the 32 by 32 base plates, which are much smaller. So it should be easier. But overall, the blue line is perfectly symmetrical. I'm really happy with how that's turned out. If I literally duplicated that on the other side, it would be a perfect circle. So I'm really happy how I was able to get that. Honestly, I wasn't even originally planning on it being perfectly symmetrical. It just kind of ended up working out. But I'm glad that it did end up working out. So this is going to be the last thing that I'm going to work on for this update. I do wish I had more time to work on some more of the flooring, like maybe fill this entire gap, but unfortunately ran out of time, mostly because I was waiting for parts and I ended up just spending most of my time working on the Umbaran Starfighter. That's gonna be it for this week of building Umbara. I am sad that I wasn't able to finish this middle portion. I ended up having to wait for a long time for those parts I needed. But I'm really happy with how the progress we have made on the Starfighter. I think it's looking pretty dang good. I'm really love Studio. I don't know how I haven't used that before. I'm really gonna be using that a lot in the future for future mocks. I already have a few ideas for something I could do that's related to those custom figures that I got. I'm really excited to show you what my plans for my next large scale mock is going to be. My plans for next week, I want to almost 100% completely finish this middle portion. I think the only portion I won't be able to is where it slopes downwards, this portion, just because I don't have all the pieces to continue this all the way across it yet. But everything else I should be able to completely finish. I'm definitely gonna be able to make more progress on the Umbaran Starfighter. I'm gonna be gone for like 2 days, but I'm gonna be able to bring my laptop and make a bit of progress on that. So that will be good to make some more progress on that. I also started working on the ice cream truck for that Easter egg. I definitely want to include that. Really make that Easter egg kind of complete. We'll see if I can start on this next layer of base plates. I don't know if I will or not. I already have an idea of how I'm going to build it. I just need to find time to build it. But thank you so much for watching this week of Building Umbara. Have a great day. Goodbye.